Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Abram.
And welcome to another episode of the Big Movement Podcast. Today, we have Tim Vasquez, who is an underground SEO warrior who has ranked clients such as UT Southwest Medical Center, the Bariatric Center of Dallas, and some other notable clients on page one of the search engines. He's also an internet marketer and a sort of jack of all trades. So we'll have to explore that a little bit. So let's give a big welcome to Tim Vasquez. So Tim, welcome.
Well, and thank you, Byron. I appreciate it. No applause, just money. You know, I'll give my PayPal account here in just a little bit. And if people feel like, donating to the cause, I'm more than willing to take it. And of course, Byron, you'll get a little money under the table for having me on.
Oh, sweet. I do expect that nice little cut there. That's the whole affiliate marketing part, right?
Exactly. You're my JV partner right now. So I'll hook the brother up. See, already talking business, JV partnership.
That is awesome. So how did you get into this world of SEO? Because, it's not like everybody out there decides, you know what? I want to rank websites. Not everybody wants to do that.
Right. Okay. So about 9 years ago, the former company I worked for in communication, I was in radio and TV for a long time. I was at a company here in Dallas who moved me down to Austin. I didn't know a lot of people in Austin, and I was very much the, I don't know how you call it, I was an island unto myself. As soon as I told people I was from Dallas, I was just ostracized immediately. So I didn't have a whole lot of friends, but the friends I had were really cool friends. So this is how I got into it. I'm out on a Friday night. I'm talking to a buddy of mine, and we're just, hanging around having a few drinks, and a buddy of his shows up, and I wish I could remember his name because what he said changed my life completely. He said, hey, Tim, I've seen you on TV, or I hear you on the radio, and you kind of get a little bashful about that. I said, thank you, I appreciate that. And I asked, what do you do? And he goes, I'm an internet marketer. And he must have looked at me like I had three heads because I didn't know what internet marketing was. And he said, what I do is, he picked up his drink list. He said, I can take a physical product, or I can take an intellectual product, put it online and make money at it. And my first gut shot was, what a great scam this is. And it's something that, you don't even think of, to be honest with you. You just do it. And it's there all the time. You see the banner ads and you see the ads, but you don't think about it. You didn't, what's internet marketing? Well, that's what it was. It was, again, doing like he said. And it stuck with me. And so, this is a Friday night. We had a few drinks. Saturday morning, I wake up with a slight hangover. But I couldn't get that thought out of my mind. I kept thinking, I can make money just by putting stuff up online? Wow. So I found a book, which is, in retrospect, it was garbage. It was a garbage book about internet marketing. But that was my first step. And so I went and bought the book, and I built a website, and that whole weekend was just dedicated to this. I didn't go out. I was just so focused on this. And then I thought, oh, Lordy, the money's going to come rolling in. 6 months later, if I give you $100, I said, Byron, if you make an honest effort to look for my website, I'm going to give you $100. If you make an honest effort, and if you could find my website, I'll give you $100. If you can't find it, you get to keep the money. Well, I would have lost $1 million. Nobody could find my website. Nobody could find my website. After 6 months, and I bought products and I bought software, and I'm by no means a techie guy. So some of this stuff was like a technical thing, and I had no clue. And so I was kind of I was getting frustrated. 6 months in, not a penny came across my account, nothing. I found out about an internet marketing seminar that was happening in San Antonio, and I was living in Austin. And I literally broke open my piggy bank so I could go to that seminar. And this is how broke I was to go there. It was a 3-day, 12-hour day seminar, and I had enough money for gas for 3 days. If I'd had a flat tire, I'd been SOL. I didn't have money to go out and eat lunch and dinner with everybody. I had to bring sandwiches from home and chips from home, and I drink water from the fountain there. I mean, literally, that's how broke I was. But I was going to give it an honest shot, thinking I really like the community. I liked everything about being creative. my job at the time was taking the creativity out of my hands, and so I wasn't having fun anymore. So the first seminar, the first guy talking, 15 minutes into it, I realized what I was doing wrong. In 15 minutes, I realized everything about what I was doing for marketing to try to get being found online, trying to get my product found online. I got it in 15 minutes, which kind of sucked because in retrospect, you kind of want that to be like the last thing, the big aha
Right.
moment, after 3 days. Well, hell, but that started the roll though. That started everything going for me. And I met a lot of amazing people. I met one of the guys who was actually the originator for the Google AdWords. And I remember seeing him walk up, and he walked in like a rock star. I mean, he had a swagger, and all he did was just put Google AdWords out there, and that maintained a lifestyle for him. He didn't even have a website. And that was kind of cool to me because I said, how can you make money without a website? Now I teach that all the time. It's like it's some of the easiest things in the world to make money without a website, and it's not even based on Google AdWords. But anyway, I met him, met a lot of great people. Some of them are still my friends to this day. I mean, they're internet marketing millionaires, is what they are, and they still maintain the lifestyle. And that was 9 years ago. I got my first client 8 years ago, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't charge a lot of money, and I make no bones about it. I'm very honest about my about how I deal and treat with people. And I told the guy, I said, look, I'm kind of new at this, and I'm not going to charge you like all these other people, but if you give me a chance, I'd like to try to help out. He said, sure, and he gave me a small bit of money, and I started doing SEO for people down in Austin. When I realized Austin is a hotbed of a lot of really smart people. But after a few more years of keeping my real job and then doing that, I was tired of my real job. I had a 5-year contract. My 5th year came up. I did not want to renew the contract. I wanted to move back to Dallas, and I did. And now I've been doing this professionally now for 7 years full time. I've never had a job since, and never had to look. And I've been very blessed. And it's I mean, and me. Again, people that don't know me, I'm a little bit arrogant about some of the things I do, but it's only because that arrogance comes to the fact is I've spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to this point. And when I see people just now starting off in the business or trying to, invade a workspace, and they say they're experts or gurus and they've been doing it for a year or two, trust me, they're not. And I've forgotten more about SEO in all these years than these people that profess themselves to be gurus and big shots and stuff in 2 years. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. You can't be a guru or an expert in 1 or 2 years because this thing that we call SEO and social media is always changing, always evolving. So I tell people, I said, just watch out for these people. And if you want to talk to me, I give free advice. And you've seen me speak a few times, and I am more than giving of advice to help people out to make them better with what they do.
Oh yeah, it's the whole expert idea. It's changed, especially with online media, because if you think about it, if you're an expert at something, that would mean that it's not changing. It's something that it's pretty much the same. You think like a heart surgeon. Well,
Right.
of course, someone can be an expert because the last time I checked, the heart hasn't really changed its structure, in the past, couple thousand years. So pretty easy. But if you look at the way that you advertise online, think about when you first got started with SEO, the things that you could do then would get you blacklisted now.
Absolutely. Oh my God. And I'm known as a black hat marketer, except to my clients, it's completely white hat, obviously. But yeah, oh my gosh, the things that, which, it's going to bring up another point here in a minute or two. But yeah, back then, 8 years ago, I mean, that was considered white hat stuff. Now it would be considered so black hat. It would
Right.
be so snarky and stuff. You shouldn't give a radio guy a microphone because I'm just going to keep going here for a second. But it brings along the fact, it brings along the thought that even though recent all these changes that Google have been doing recently, and people have been doing all this white hat stuff, what they think is white hat, and then they get de-indexed and they think they've done nothing wrong. They haven't kept up with the game. I've not had not one single site ever get de-indexed because I do things correctly. And I mean, I go deep into finding out what's Google, doing or not doing. What are they looking at? I mean, I keep up to date with all these things, and in all these years, never had a site de-indexed. And Yeah, some of those methods I've done would be considered black hat now, were white hat back then.
Right.
So, it's just the goofiest thing. You got to keep up with Google.
Right, exactly. It's so important because their whole responsibility is to make sure that people are getting the ideal experience, and you have to figure out what's going to kind of just walk that line just right. It's still
Right.
white hat, but it's not really dipping
Yeah,
too much in the dark side.
yeah. And so here it is. This is the white hat stuff. Write readable content.
Oh
Write
yeah,
readable content. It's and so in your social signals. There's arguments about the social signals. Well, if we get a backlink from Facebook and Twitter and stuff, there's arguments for and against that the social signals are working or not. Again, you can have your opinion on this. I'm just telling you, this is what I've read. Yes, social signals work. No social signal works. But the one truism that works is have good content. Hands down, have good readable content.
right.
That you won't get de-indexed.
Right. That the way I like to look at it is adding a simple thing onto that. It's not only having good readable content, but it's good readable content that people want to share.
Right. Right. Yeah, which goes into a backlinking.
Right.
And that is a huge ranking factor. I don't care what anybody says. That is a huge ranking factor for Google. But make sure that those backlinks are relevant backlinks. And here's my theory about the backlinks, and I say relevant backlinks. Let's say you got 95% of your backlinks are based in your field, and 5% of those are like from a cleaner or a bowling alley or whatever. That's okay,
Right.
because if everything was perfect, then Google would give you the skunk eye because it's too good. You've got to have some things in there that aren't, that won't penalize you, but nobody's got a perfect site. Nobody does.
Right.
And if you were a perfect site, that's going to raise the stink eye. Trust me.
Right. And you have to think of it. You want it to mimic natural human behavior.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, of course, it can't all be from the same specific niche there. You're going to have that diversity from little mommy Joe Suey homemaker blog, like, ooh, I thought this was really cool. You guys should check this out. As well as the bowling, like, yeah, I got my shirts cleaned at Joe's cleaner place or something, you know?
Thank you. Absolutely. It's amazing. People from Chicago even get this. I am shocked and amazed.
I know. It's
I'm talking
amazing.
about you.
I know. Like, wow. You're just throwing these darts out there, Mr. Spam Sandwich.
Oh, thank you I know, and it tastes good sometimes.
Oh,
It tastes good sometimes.
with or without cheese.
Always with cheese.
Uh,
Always with cheese. Because I'm the cheese king. I am the cheese king.
well, you
So
are kind of cheesy sometimes,
all
so
the time. Yeah. So but again, going into the backlinks, you're absolutely right. It's if it's mom and pop Susie home QQ maker, you get a backlink to. That's okay. It's
right.
okay, even if it's not a site that's got a lot of authority. I said, well, if they all got to have authority, they all got to have domain authority of 30 and above, or no, they don't. You can have a 10 and above domain authority, and again, that's perfectly fine in Google's eye. If you had a domain authority of 5, now that's a lower index, it's a lower quality website, but again, that's okay. Because
hmm
guess what? Maybe it's when if are we. I know you're going to lead this discussion, but I'm just going to say, are we going to talk about PBNs? Because I can tell you about PBNs, about being lower authority, and how again, if you build up your PBNs in the right way, it's not going to hurt you. But anyway,
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that soon enough, because
okay.
I think that people should understand that SEO it's not necessarily difficult. It's just the fact
Mm,
that you have to be very methodical of looking at what is it that you need to do to get ranked there. It's like math, A plus B equals C. You have to be
right, right.
very organized about it. That's all.
Here's all SEO is to me, and it's always been this way to me. What are people looking for? It's really as simple as that. If you make it more complicated to that, and I'll be honest with you, there's only like 3 or 4 ranking factors that are even relevant. When people start talking about like these minutiae of, and again, there's some relevancy to H1s and H2 and H3s and stuff. There's relevancy to that, but that's not a huge ranking factor. There are certain ranking factors that Google looks for, and if you pay me, I'll tell you what they are. I'll give you one, and it's the most obvious one. It's title tags.
Right.
You got between 60 and 70 characters to put your keywords in on your website in the title tag. 50% of a search from Google comes from those title tags. 50%. And I cannot tell you how many times I will look at a website that somebody's built out and an SEO agency has taken a look at, and all they've done is optimize the homepage. Really? Kiss my because that is laziness and it's stupidity. You optimize every page that's out there on the site, every tab that's available out there, you optimize it. Every single one, because the reason is, and obviously your top heavy keywords go at the front on the homepage, and the lesser keywords keep going down. It's like a funnel. It's like a tornado, basically. That's sideways. You just big first, and it narrows down. But you're always putting the keywords into your title tags. And I just picked up a new client, and they're like, "Well, we want our company name out there." I said, "We're going to do that, but we're not going to do it the way you want to. I'm not going to tell you how to do air conditioning." I mean, they're
Right.
really nice people. I can't wait to work with them. They're super nice. But I said it doesn't work like that. And their title tags, when I looked at it, had like 6 zillion. And our homepage had 6 zillion, whatever. No, Google gives up after 70 characters, and that's including spaces, folks. So make sure if you're going to work on a website, get somebody to work on your website, and tell the people that are doing your SEO for them, optimize every single page on the site, every single tab, and put keywords in those, because Google looks at all of them. And frankly, I don't care how you get into a site, but once you get in, pretend you're a brick and mortar store and you've got 9 doorways to get into your site. You want everybody to go through the main door, but if they come in through a side door, once they get in, they're going to find out what they're looking for. They're going to find why they're there at the side. And then you close the door behind them and you don't let them go until you close the deal. That's all SEO is. What are they looking for? What are people looking for? So
Right.
can I give a little tip right now about keywords?
Of course.
All right, so cool. So everybody goes. A lot of people go to Google Keyword Planner to find the keywords, which is okay. It's good to do. But have you thought about going to Reddit for your keywords? If you go to Reddit and type in a keyword into Reddit, guess what? It brings up all these things of what people are looking for. Those are keywords, folks.
Mm-hmm.
What does it cost you? Nothing. Zero. That's and I love to give it. It's just a great little tip to think about. Go to Reddit and type in what you're looking for, and then you'll find all these little posts related to what you're talking about. These are keywords. People are typing in things that are related to your keyword. Use those and put them in your title tags.
Right.
There you go. $1 million.
Right,
My
exactly.
you might
The
pay.
PayPal link there, yeah, definitely. It might be some odd country out there, like, look, $1 million is worth about 50 cents, but there you go.
I'll take it.
But
Just
one
a
thing
neat little
it's
tip.
right, but here's something else to think about when it comes to keywords. Look at because we're moving to such a mobile-based society, how many people are
Hmm.
using voice search compared to
Oh,
just
I love.
typing it in?
I love that you're bringing this up. So 6 months ago, I saw a small little teensy article in Search Engine Journal. It was like a paragraph, and I looked at it. I said, "Oh my Lord, this is going to be big." We got a mutual friend here in the Dallas area named Joe Youngblood,
Hmm.
who's written for a lot of publications and stuff. And I had him on my show recently, and we talked about the voice identification stuff. And I talked about this at one of the meetings that I got to speak at. I talked about voice recognition search, and it's a big keyword search tool right now. I think a lot of people are asking, like, how far is it to this, or how tall is that, or how old is this? But if you're catching the common theme there, it's like a how is, how to, how something. And if you look that search term up, it's generally ranking page 1 of Google or something. So the fact that you're bringing this up, this is something near and dear to my heart, because I got people testing some of these theories out right now. But it's think of using how to, like how to find a plumber near me, how to use such and such. And if you use those type of keywords in your content, and it's those type of searches are too big for a title tag, but maybe it's an H1 or a header to your blog, or it's something interesting about your blog that you use that as a title. But again, these searches are becoming more and more common on Google, and because of that, guess what? You get to rank for those search terms. If you take advantage of it's an infant thing going on right now, but it is a relevant search term that's going on too.
Right, because the easiest way to think about it is in the past where it just been a simple statement, let's say it was Plano plumbing, using that as an
Hmm.
example. Well, now
Yep.
because of voice search, someone might type in of, let's say, of where is a Plano and plumber where is a plumber in Plano, Texas?
Been speaking English long?
No, no, senor.
I'm Hispanic and I speak better English than you. What's up with that, man? But you're right. It is. It used to be the old keyword search rate. And by the way, people say, well, rank me for plain old plumber. I said, I can't. Ain't gonna happen. I don't have an agency that has 300 people working for me that all their dedication is to doing something like this. I'll talk about agencies later. Or I could talk about my own show, and I have. But the thing is, plain old plumber doesn't work anymore. You're not gonna rank for that. It ain't gonna happen because there's a lot of sites that are in there. But you could probably rank for how to find a plumber in Plano near me. That's a long
Right,
tail search term. But people are typing this up. People are saying those things, which means it's going into Google, which means winner, winner, chicken dinner for you. Take advantage of those type of queries, even if you don't have one of those instruments. Just think
right,
about it. If I was to ask this question, where am I going to rank? Think about that. You could probably get a pretty decent ranking. And don't just think about your city. Let me give you another little hint. Don't just think about your city, but think about your neighborhood. Think about your zip code. Think about your zip code too. I'm almost guaranteeing you, you will get first page rankings if you use your zip code. Almost guaranteed.
right. Oh,
Because
definitely.
people are asking that. Yeah, I need a plumber near 75111 or wherever zip code you're in or something like that. Guess
Right.
guess what? You'll probably rank for that.
Right. Exactly. It's so much easier to do things that the typical mindset is not looking at. Like, well, we have to go for the big keyword. Well, why? I
Yeah.
was telling a person the other day, the whole strategy is not to go after that single term or that just with two
Hmm.
words. Let's look at how many of these things that we can get ranked for that have three, four, five different words in it, because then you
Right.
start stacking them all together.
Right. Yeah. It's what we call long tail keyword search terms.
Right.
Yeah. It's those are pretty tough too. But yeah, I mean it's pretty tough. But again, it's a bit of a low hanging fruit if you think about it. But in the same way, it's really not because I'm not just typing up like plain old plumber. I'm just not doing that. I'm
Right.
typing in like plumber near me or best plumber, and such or things like. I'm using a longer search term phrase, which means I'm not looking for tire kickers.
Right.
If you're typing a plumber Plano, that's tire kicking. If I'm typing
Right.
I'm best plumber in Plano or something, I'm
Right.
not tire kicking you. I am looking for the best plumber in Plano, and that's how I search for things. When
Right.
so like again, I use this client as an example. I said, so you're going to take your wife out for dinner in Plano. You've never been to Plano before in your entire life, but you take baby out there. Now you got a nice hotel. You and baby are at this nice hotel, and baby wants steak. What are you going to top out? Steak in Plano, or are you going to type out best steakhouse in Plano? I
Right.
guarantee you're typing out best steakhouse in Plano because it's baby we're talking about. Baby is your business, folks. So,
Right.
think about it like that. I can tell you this: you won't get as many hits, or really, as opposed to not getting any hits at all. You'll get some hits with this, but these are focused, targeted, specific search terms that people
Right.
are looking for.
And I think that's something where it makes a difference is that you don't want to focus on the sheer search volume. You should just be looking at the conversions at the end of the day. Because
Absolutely.
it doesn't do you any good if you have 100,000 people going to your site, but only, let's say, 10 people convert, versus that person who's getting 500 and they're getting 50 people to convert.
And conversely, that if by stats like that, that's something's way wrong with your website. There's
Well,
something
yeah.
so bad with your website. If you got 100,000 people going in and only four converted, there's something wrong in the message. So
Right. Oh, yeah. Exactly. But you get the idea there. You
yeah,
want to make sure that you're getting the conversions for the right things, so people are going, oh, I really want this.
right,
So
exactly.
So obviously, we've talked about all these different things, and people love to make money. And you mentioned earlier that people can make money without even having a website. And I'm sure some people might be wondering, say what?
Yeah.
So how can someone do that?
Okay, so I've got a zillion different ways. I'm going to give you guys the easiest, and I've talked about it. So can I plug my show right now?
Of course.
Okay, so I've got a show on a network called the Real News Communication Network. It is a PR firm run by former journalists, most notably and locally is Jeff Crilley, who used to be at Channel 4 for years and stuff. Now it's his own PR agency, and again, it's run by former journalists. And so I've been very blessed to had been asked to go do my show over there. I was doing a show somewhere else, and again, they asked me to show up, and I said, "Great, it's perfect for my needs and stuff." So I talk about this all the time. My show's on iTunes and SoundCloud. Just type up the Launch with Tim Vasquez by RNCN, and you can get that on iTunes. I'm like 30 shows in, and I give free tips all the time, especially about how to start your own business. So here's a great little tip. It's easy, it doesn't cost anything. This is the really cool part, and you don't have to have a website. So get your pen and paper ready. Even Byron, like he's getting carpal tunnel right now, but here's how it works. So find a product that you want to promote online, and let me give you a site you can find products to sell online that doesn't cost you. It's a site called ClickBank, ClickBank, called ClickBank. So in the it doesn't cost anything to sign up. Once you go there, you type in a keyword, and then you're looking for something related to your keyword that somebody's selling online. Now, they're trying to sell their product. What you're going to do with that is that you're going to make a video about that product. And I'm going to give you a free tool on how to make a video. It doesn't cost anything. And there's a company that's actually charging $97 for a tool very similar to what I'm about to give you. I'm not going to name that company, but I'm going to give you the free tool. But let me go back to the ClickBank. So now you find this product on ClickBank. You're looking, and how do you determine what's the best to sell? Well, there's a little drop down on the top of the page that you're going to, and it's like in the middle of the page, you're going to click it, and it starts with popularity, but what you're looking for is gravity. So once you do this little drop down, you click gravity. What that means is the higher the gravity number, the better it is this item is selling online, which means everybody's looking for this. Now, again, make up your own mind on what you think is going to work or not work in the way of gravity. Then you get a chance to take a look at what they're selling. Take a look at the site. What are they saying in there? Does it look like a site made out of GoDaddy, or does it look like a site that's a really cool professional looking one? I'm not a big fan of GoDaddy's websites. Obviously, with that statement, it's because they're garbage. They're garbage sites. To be honest with you, they're awful. But the thing is, you can find something related to, that you like. Oh, this is a really cool looking item. So let's say losing weight. Okay, let's use this as an example. Don't try to rank for it; it's gonna be impossible. But I'm gonna tell you, let's use this for an example. So you look up losing weight, and then you find somebody saying like, "Here are the top 20 secrets for losing weight by drinking green tea," and you like what this says. So now you look at the content, and you're like, "Okay, start taking these little bullet points what they're talking about." Now, you're going to take those bullet points and make it into a video with visual images in it. Here's the free movie making site. Everybody I've turned this site on to absolutely loves it. It is so easy to use. It's embarrassing. But it's called Spark Adobe, SPARK.Adobe. And you can even type up Adobe Spark. That's how I remember is Adobe Spark. Adobe products usually cost, except for this. This is free. So they give you an option to make videos on this. And you can make the video as long or as short as you want. Generally, if I'm going to make a video, I want it 30 seconds to a minute to do the thing. Now, when you're making the video, you're going to type in the content, and then you're going to apply a picture to it. They got their own set of pictures that are high definition, high quality pictures in there, so you don't have to go around searching on the internet. You just go there. So how do I use it? There's a video tutorial on how to use Adobe Spark inside the machine. So you can use this, make your videos, find the product online. Then once you're done with it, you got two really cool things. One, once you're done with the video, it posts automatically to the Adobe community. So you've already got a built-in audience of people inside the community of the Adobe world, critiquing other people's videos and stuff and looking at other people's videos. Then the other thing is you can download it and put it up to YouTube. So you create a YouTube channel and you post that video on your YouTube channel. And then here's the secret sauce. Once you post it on the YouTube channel, there's a little button called share in the middle of the page. You click onto that button, and they give you about like 10 options, 8 to 10 options there that you can use, and you create accounts for all of those options, which doesn't cost anything. So once the video is created, it's uploaded onto YouTube, it's ready to go, then you click, and then you send it out there, and then you click share, and you click each one of those little buttons individually, which means your video is going to go out to all those different platforms, which means that now your message is being spread out there. This is not only just for business to have your own little business online, but this is also for SEO purposes too. And I've just given you a free tool. Don't even have to have a website. And by the way, you provide the link in the description. So once they click on that link, there's a cookie embedded in those people's websites. So that way, if they buy the product, guess what? You get credit for it, and it goes into your PayPal account. All of this, what did it cost you? Nothing. Not one single penny. So when I tell people you can start your own business for nothing, and everybody goes like BS and baloney and whatever. And I'm like, really? Let me show you. And this is coming from SEO experts. Oh, you can't do it without money. Oh, really? Let me show you. Now shut up. Go back to the room there, Buster. So it's a great technique on how to make money online that doesn't cost you anything, and you're using just other people's things. Or you don't even have to have your own product. If somebody has a gripe about the product, guess what? The vendor takes care of it. You got your money, move on, do something else.
Right.
And then you can use the same thing for your clients. It can be movies from this about your client's stuff. So you get some visuals related to your client's business, put some verbiage in there. Again, and oh, by the way, they provide music too. They provide the pictures, they provide music. So it's not just this boring, slideshow thing, and it is a slideshow. But I've got using that tool just for grins and funs. I've got it's ranking page 1 of Google and YouTube using that type of method I just told you about. And it doesn't cost anything. Once you get really adept at this, it'll probably take you 30 minutes to an hour to do your first one because you're learning how to do this. But after you get into the groove, 15, 20 minutes. You can crank out a video in 15 or 20 minutes.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's just easy. It's so simple. There's no barriers to entry. All you need is the internet connection, and you can do it.
Exactly it. Exactly. So, I mean, so there you go. How to start your own business without any money.
Well, that is a brilliant one. So now earlier as well, we kind of like doing little flashback things, although the flashback goes 15 minutes back to the decades here. You mentioned PBNs. Tell us a little bit more about that because some people may be like, PB, what? Are you talking about PBNJ? But you said PBN.
Yeah, so peanut butter and jelly is what I meant. So
yes, naturally.
PBN. No, okay. So what PBN stand for? They call them private blog networks. The better word is it's a expired domain. And so it should be called like ED, expired domain, because that's what a private blog network is. It's just an expired domain, and you create a group of them. So let's say you're starting a brand new business, and it's going to be about monkey wrestling, all right, or giraffe roping, okay? So you got a giraffe roping site. And there's people that have been doing giraffe roping for years, and say, oh Lordy, how do I compete with that? And you open up a brand new site, and it's got no authority in Google, 0 authority in Google, and you're trying to get ranked online, but you still want to have your own site. Well, cool, that's great. But what a PBN is that you go look for expired domains related in your niche that's already got some domain authority that somebody let it go. Now, like we knew that, like JebBush.com, was it JebBush.com? For some reason, the Trump people grabbed it up because he let the expired domain go, and that site had amazing authority to it, had built-in authority. So they took the site from him, but it wasn't, they didn't take it from him because he let it go. It expired. So what it is it's finding expired domains that have built-in authority to it, related to your field, and then you build a brand new website out of that, and then you link that. If you still want to have your own site, that's cool. I would suggest you still build up your own website. But this expired domain, I make up not a mirror site, but a site related to my business, and I link that site going into my business. Now, what does that mean? That means I've got a site that's got built-in authority already built-in authority, going back to my site, linking back to my site, and it's telling Google that my site that's brand spanking new is starting to get some authority building up from an expired domain. So maybe you buy two or three, four, or five different domains related to your field, all varying in the way of domain authority. And again, this is the big ticket. It has to have some domain authority to it. Don't get a site that's got a domain authority of one. That's I'll be honest, that's almost worthless in a way, but that's another talk. But try to find domain authorities like with 10 and above. If it's an 8, go ahead and get it if you can find those. But the thing is, you're building authority back to your original site by those sites linking back to your main site. Now, you could even make it as a 301 redirect, which is really powerful also. You don't even have to you don't even have to do anything to the site. Just make sure it's a 301 redirect based on the keyword that goes back to your main site. And then your site starts to build up authority. I spoke to a WordPress group here in Dallas last year, and I talked about PBNs, and I had the naysayers in there. I said, really? Let me show you something. So if you talked to Road Rage Lawyer in Dallas, I had 3 sites for a competitive keyword search term, 3 PBNs on page 1 of Google from PBNs, all related back to my client side and attorney. All different types of all different URLs, and it had duplicate content too, which is another issue I absolutely slam people about that don't know what they're talking about. Those sites, basically the same thing, duplicate content, page 1 of Google for a competitive keyword search term, all linking back to my client site. PBNs are an amazing way, but it's not just an expired domain. You've got to build up the Web 2.0 products too in support of all that. There's a way to interlink all of that to make it work. That's where you're gonna have to pay me to come teach you, because it's not complicated, but it does take up my time. But basically, that's what a PBN is. You buy an expired domain and it builds up authority for your main site if you do it right, and you want that PBN to link up to your main site. And once you do that, again, you're really going to be sitting pretty good, because Google looks at that very favorably.
Right.
If you do it right.
Right, naturally. It's like most things, you have to do it right. Otherwise, you could screw up like brain surgery. Done right, someone's healthy. Wrong?
Yeah.
Well,
they'll end up like me. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. You just sit around and just think about food and other stuff half the time.
exactly. I'm thinking
Using
about
bacon and other things.
usually beer.
Beer,
Beer.
bacon, those little things
The
like
B
that.
words. Byron. Not so much.
No,
Not so.
no, not so much. Yeah, it doesn't go fit well with like beer and bacon. No.
Yeah. Can I actually? You know what? Can I add on the PBNs just a little
Oh,
bit
sure,
there?
definitely.
Okay, so when I talk about PBNs and I talk about your Web 2.0 products, your Web 2.0 products, I'm talking about like Blogger and Tumblr and WordPress.org. The one that's not hosted on GoDaddy or anything like that. It's just another one. Uh, Blogger, WordPress, any site that's got some domain authority built into it, that's a Web 2.0 product, and those are all Web 2.0 products. You can all make them like mini websites, all linking back up to your PBNs, which will link back up to your main site, or you can mix it all up, your Web 2.0 products, some linking back to your PBNs and some linking back to your main site. Some of the Web 2.0 products just linking straight up to your website, your PBNs linking to the Web 2.0 products. There's a lot of different ways to do that. But again, the main thing is that you've got some interlinking going on. You've got backlinks going on from authority sites, all going back to your main site. But like I said, there's right ways to do it and there's wrong ways to do it. And the ones that complain about PBNs are doing it the wrong way. And like I said, in 8 years, I've never had a site get de-indexed because I'm doing it the right way and I'm doing it the way Google wants it done.
Right, exactly. And it all goes back down to one simple thing. It's following human behavior, because what's a
Yep.
PBN? You have content on it because it's in the ideal theory, it should look like, how would someone talk about a business or recommend something? That's it.
Yeah.
Make it simple.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. 500 words, 300 to 500 words. It's all you need. A picture and a
Right.
video. That's all you need. 500 words, picture, video.
Right,
Done.
exactly. And
Done.
the beautiful thing is you don't even need to create it yourself.
No, no, you don't. Yeah. Thank you, but Mr. Black Hat. But you're right.
Of course, it fits the black t-shirt and stuff, so why not?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. What else you got
Yes.
for me, man? I can keep going. I can talk for this. I can talk this stuff for hours.
Well, and that's important. All these things, they truly matter, when it comes down to it. Now, obviously, we talked about SEO and making money and those types of things. It's when it comes to people getting ranked online, because some people,
Hmm.
they have that mindset of, like, well, is it just like ads? I do it and I should shoot up right away. What's realistic for that business owner out there, that entrepreneur, when they start SEOing their site, for them to show up for a keyword, so they don't
Yeah,
think
and
like, oh, well, it should have happened yesterday. You just put the link up yesterday.
very
What do you
fair question.
expect?
That's a great question. The great unwashed, the business people. It's not their job to know how SEO works. They just, they don't care how the steak's cooked. They just want it to taste good. And some of them want it served immediately after it's off the fire because it's the best and tastiest right there. It doesn't work like that. I mean, generally, it'll take 6 weeks, possibly 6 weeks to 3 months, depending on the type of keyword you're using. Uh, I'm real big into video marketing. I mean, big into video marketing because there's some loopholes. I take advantage of that to get my clients ranked online while I'm still building up the authority for a website. So it just depends on the competitiveness of a keyword. If you make up a keyword like blah, 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 like something goofy like that, oh, page one, that'll take you seconds because nobody's looking for that.
Right.
So what does it matter then? Well, and it does matter, to be honest with you. There is a little ranking factor. Just it's the fact. So I'll throw you a little theory out there, and it's still being debated right now. So the theory is it doesn't matter what the keyword is as long as you're on page one of Google. Google 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 looks at that as being an authority. The fact that you're page one. Now, but it's like what you've mentioned. Is it relevant? Is it readable? Does it make sense? And so that takes into account also. So maybe you make a long tail search term like, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, black hat artist of all time. And if that becomes your keyword, I am pretty doggone sure you're going to rank page one for that, and that's readable content. And then that links back up to your site. Again, there are arguments kind of underground right now going on about that type of ranking factor. Can I use that type of statement in my website to make it rank? And yes, it'll rank for that search term that nobody's looking for. But the fact that it's ranking on Google tells Google, well, guess what? It's page one. So there's an authority there. So there, again, there's some discussion about that right now. Uh, I'm making your answer a really long one, and it just depends. I have been able to make a video page one for a competitive search term in my work, and I've got documentation. I screenshot everything when I do these things like that. 30 seconds of page one for a competitive search term from a video I made in 30 seconds. After I clicked post, I was able to hit page one on it from a video. And that's my
Nice.
world record. I had 36 seconds and then I got 30 and I'm like I was over the moon. Does it happen like that all the time? No, it doesn't. But more times than not, I'll rank for video search terms that will rank page one of Google
Right.
and YouTube. It just but again, I don't know their algorithm. I get lucky sometimes. So if you ask me to make
Right.
a video, yeah, I'm almost guaranteed to rank. If you want me to rank your website, we're looking at maybe I don't know 6 weeks to 3 months. It'll take a little
Right.
time.
Right, exactly. It's constantly making those changes because you're looking, and that's the thing that sometimes people forget about. It's not just that you're trying to rank their website. It's also you have to think that how many other SEO people out there are trying to rank the competition. So you kind of have
Absolutely.
to make sure you're doing more than they are to stay ahead of the pack. So it's not just
Yeah.
a one and done thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and listen, I got a client, and I'm busting my chops to get. He's page three, and I mean, and I'm doing everything but black hat stuff to get him to page one. But it is an ultra competitive business he's in, and I'm able to rank him from some outlying cities. But for Dallas, I mean, it's a tough road. There's a lot of directory sites, and this is another issue with SEO right now. There's a lot of directory sites that take up page one rankings like
Right.
Thumbtack and Yelp and Home Advisor. Those type of sites are directory sites, and Google puts a ton of weight into those. Every now and then, you might find a local business ranking in there. but it's few and far between. Unfortunately, for this one particular client, there's a lot of directory sites in there. And I got them to the top of page two one time, and I still couldn't break page one. And I'm like, I'm really good at what I do. And the fact I couldn't break page one, I feel like just crying.
Hmm.
I did, because I was just like, I hate losing. Uh,
Right.
yeah, but that's, like, again, what I would, if you're an SEO, if you're starting off in SEO and you're getting some clients and they're asking, how long will it take? I mean, the true honest answers, and you're not trying to take people's money. It's like, it'll take 6 weeks to 3 months. If we're able to get it up, within that time, great. We're kind of doubling down then, because those other people, once they find out you're on that top of the page, they're going to double down. So
Right.
yeah, it's tough.
Right. It's the continuous cycle
Yeah.
because as soon as someone jumps ahead of them, guess what that person's going to do? Like, oh, who's this?
Right.
And then they're going to look at all the data and see, oh, so this is what I can see of what you're doing. So then they're going to up their game. So it's that constant back and forth battle.
Right.
So that's what people have to understand. It's where it goes back down to what I said before. It's not simply a one and done. It's sure you could, let's say that you're ranked number 3 one week, and then oh my gosh, you dropped down to number 7 3 weeks later. Oh well, because your competitors did X, Y, and Z. So then you're back at it, and then oh look, now you're back on top.
Right. Right. So don't get, if a client, breaks your chops about that, hey, look, there's other people trying to rank for this too. So, listen, we'll get up there. Don't sweat it. We'll, hang in there. You weren't there before 6 months ago. You weren't even sniffing this. So, we're still there. Just got to be a little patient. So, that's what I tell potential clients or clients that I've had. Why did this happen? I say, calm
Right,
down, calm
right,
down. You know.
right. Oh yes, exactly. That it's kind of like baking a cake. You got to do it right.
Right, right. And let me throw this one out there. Don't they may want to rank for a particular search term, and I'll look at them and I'll say, that ain't happening. Ain't gonna happen anytime soon. Why don't we find something related to what you're doing that's still a relevant search term that we can bank money on? Because if it's related to the search term and there's a lot of people looking for that, guess what? And we can rank for that a lot quicker. Let's go for that while we're still working on this back end. I'm not going to throw all my ducks, in the pond at once on this one search term. Then I know it's going to be very difficult when I can rank for other search terms to bring money in.
Right.
Does that make that's I always tell clients. I said, like I said, they want this new client. They want to rank for this. I said, ain't happening. And they already talked to SEO agencies, and they said, well, they said they could. I said, well, hire them and then waste money. I said, they're trying to take your dollar bill. I don't need the money that bad. It's like, I'm telling you that's not going to work. But what if I could find something related to what you're looking for that has just as many search terms? That's the other thing, folks. Look for related search terms that are related to your industry. And you'd be surprised at how many people are looking for those things that you're not servicing. And when you do that, guess what? You're going to jump ahead of the game and you'll have happy clients.
Right.
Byron's sitting there taking notes. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea, Tim. I didn't think of that. This is
Right.
great.
Oh
Here's your
yes.
six pack.
No, never
Yeah.
thought about that. Like yes, your 6 pack of Schlitz.
Schlitz. Something good. Jack, Schlitz, Lone Star, all that quality beer. Three
Oh,
bucks
of
a six pack.
course.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. Gee whiz.
Hey, if you're really nice, I might even upgrade it to a 12 pack.
Whoa. I'll tell you what, give it to the homeless. They need it more than me. So, when you're driving by, give them a beer. They'll appreciate it more. Don't take that Lone Star. Ugh.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So, all right, keep going, my friend.
All right, man. So, yeah, this is all great stuff. So, as we begin to wrap things up here,
No.
I know, we're having so much fun,
I know. I know.
It's always a tough thing. What's one thing you recommend people do when it comes to getting found online? I
Do
know,
video.
hard one.
No, no, it's not. It's just that. Okay, so part of it is it's a routine, it's a discipline. If they're bootstrapping it, they're doing it themselves. And believe me, there's a lot of people that do that. And what do you do first? I need to get found online. I need to do something, but I don't have time to do all these things. And it's a lot of work. And Tim, you're making it so difficult. I'm going to tell you right now, the tool I told you guys about, Adobe Spark, which is again spark.adobe, but just type Adobe Spark. Make a video about your business. I don't care if it's Tupperware or if it's brain surgery. Provide the images and provide the verbiage that you're an expert at that you insert into this video. Once you're finished with it, like I said, once you pick send, it'll populate the Adobe community that are in the hundreds of thousands already, and then you download it to YouTube and make sure that your keywords in the title of your video. It can't be, my video about Tupperware. Nobody's looking for that. Use some keywords in your title description and in your verbiage and in your description area rather. Put the link to your website. And when you put the link to your website, and I cannot tell you how many SEO experts get this wrong, and that's the reason they're experts, folks, deadbeats. Put the HTTP or HTTPS in that description. Just copy the link from your website on the top of the bar. Just copy and paste it and put it in the description to make it a clickable link.
Right.
That will get you the quickest way to get found online and also the quickest way to rank online. You'd be surprised how quick you might be on page 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, but guess what? Where were you before? And by the way, you're probably the only one with a visual on that page. And if you're the only visual on that page, guess what people's eyes are drawn to? Yours. Guess what place they're going to click to? Yours. Now, there's ways to do that I teach in classes. But again, the reason I'm big on video marketing, because again, what are people looking for? I found out what people are looking for. And then when the video's up online on page 1 of Google or 2 of Google, it's the only visual there. Your eyes are always drawn to that visual. So I win, which means you win. So that's to me the easiest way to do it. It's not complicated. It's just not. Then think about, what are people looking for? That's all SEO is, folks. What are people looking for? Anybody that makes it any harder than that, don't deal with them, because they're trying to bamboozle you with all these fancy words and iframes and H1s and content this and baloney that. I mean, gee whiz. They try to make themselves sound smart and more intelligent, and they're trying to speak over your heads, and that makes them sound, and it makes you intimidated because, well, what they're saying must be right. It's not. It's just not. They're trying to rip you off. Because,
right.
Gee whiz, it just wears. Again, as long as Byron's known me, and again, I'm when I do my speaking and stuff, I am so anti the rip-off artist, and I always speak about that. Don't let people talk above your heads. If you don't understand, ask. If they don't know how to explain, then say thank you very much for your time, and I may talk to you later. But don't get bamboozled by fancy words. If they don't speak your language, then you don't need to deal with them.
Right, exactly. And that's powerful stuff. So, Tim, how can people reach out to learn more about what you do, the classes, and so forth?
They can reach, I'm sitting there thinking, how many websites do I have? How many email addresses can I send them to? They can reach me at thelaunchtim at gmail.com, thelaunchtim@gmail.com, which is also the name of my podcast, webcast show, heard on the Real News Communication Network, or rncn.com. And you can hear that every Friday Central Time, on that network. And again, my show's on SoundCloud and iTunes. Please shoot me an email. I mean, like I said, I don't mind, giving tips or hints or anything like that. I don't mind at all. It doesn't cost me anything. And, and if it helps you out, that's great. I mean, it really is. It's about the community. Like great news today. I thought this was amazing news that Canada and the United States signed a bill, a treaty of sorts, as it were, to help out women entrepreneurs. That they're, women in business and women entrepreneurs, and just signed it today. And they're going to be working in conjunction to help build up a community for women to better themselves in business and stuff. And I thought that was amazing. I'm so happy for that, because it's reaching out and helping. And
right.
and I know that's what Byron likes to do. I certainly do that. And again, it's about empowerment. So thelaunchtim@gmail.com is a really good way to get a hold of me. And then, like I said, I'm more than willing to give you tips and tricks if I can. And if you subscribe to my newsletter, I send out weekly newsletters, again, detailing some methods and stuff.
Oh, excellent. Well, Tim, I want to thank you for coming onto the Big Movement podcast and sharing your love of SEO, marketing, and bacon and other sorts of things?
Well, I do not have a love of any of those things. You said beer. There, I have a love of beer.
I was close, it was the B.
Beer. So, yeah, no, seriously, Byron, thank you so much for inviting me to be a guest. I had fun. Again, I'm an old radio guy, so as soon as he handed the mic over to me, I'm like, I'm Chatty Cathy at that point. I just, slow me down. Red Bull, let's go.
Yeah, there you go, right.
And again, so I'm going to invite the invitation to you. So again, keep listening to Byron's show, and then he'll make an announcement because he'll be on my show on the launch, and it's just a half an hour. But again, I want to talk to somebody from Chicago, what they know about SEO and stuff. So.
Right, yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, that whole thing. But again, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.